here so we can all see who's chatting, who's going to be talking to us. So
Heck
we were
yeah.
just talking. Yeah. Oh, by the way, let's introduce ourselves. My God, this is Ryan Williams,
What's going on,
YouTuber
everyone?
extraordinaire. I'm Russ with, I got my Dapper Dividends channel. And before we got on, we were just talking about an issue. I don't know about an issue. I guess it's an issue for me. Is I'm down 100 shares of Altria, but you are at 100 shares of what? Let me hear it. Let's hear it.
The one and only AT&T finally crossed the threshold.
So you got that 100. What are you doing covered calls with it? Do you have any intention? I think the premiums aren't that great on it, but
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if you gathered this from our conversation, before we went live, but I have not started trading options yet. Haven't dipped my toe into those waters. I just, this is my first time getting a stock over 100 shares. So this is really the only opportunity I have to sell covered calls or anything, but I still have a lot to learn about options before I get started. And I'd like to save up some more cash, I think, before I get into that territory.
Yeah, man, it's good and it's bad. So I'll just give my little part. I had 3 options out there. 2 of them knocked them out of the park, and one of them, is Altria. So on my board, I had to adjust it down $360 because I had a covered call out there for $52 strike on Altria, and it expired on Friday the 4th. So basically, for those of you that don't know, if Altria was below $52, I would have kept those shares. I got almost $30 for the contract that I got to keep right off the bat. And it ended up closing above 52, 53 and change. So I still made money. I had to sell my 100 shares at $52 a share. So it kind of sucks I'm without those shares. And at least those were long-term gains, by the way. But nevertheless, they're gone. They're not in my account anymore. And I really liked having those because it's a really high yield that I feel comfortable with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sell cash secured puts, which is basically the opposite, meaning that if I write tomorrow, if I sell a cash secured put for say $52, I might get paid whatever it's going to be, $80, $90. And the lower Altria goes, the higher those premiums will be for the puts. So I'm going to at least try and sell a cash secured put where I can get the dividend. So I'm looking for at least $90. And again, as I was just telling you, that when the price goes down, so if I sell a cash secured put for 2 weeks from now, and they always expire on Fridays for $52, and I don't know, Altria does some crazy thing and it goes to $20 a share. Well, I have to pay $52 per share for Altria, even though it's at $20. So I only do that with companies that I want to hold for the long term, and I'm okay holding if we're way down on. So,
real quick, Russ, if it went in the opposite direction, like if your strike price was 52 but it went up to 60, would you get more of a premium as it got farther away from that strike price, or how does that work?
Yeah, no, so it's locked in once I sell it. Oh, and if the further high it would go, I wouldn't be able to buy those shares because they would be above, because I would just be able to buy them on the market. And it's kind of inverse. It takes a minute for anybody watching this. If you're confused a little bit, it took me a little, I don't know, I'd say maybe 2 months solid of kind of studying it and doing it to get in there. But 2 of them really quick before we move on that did work out, were one of them was Neo. I sold covered call on Neo for $109. So I got that right away, and it ended up dropping. And it was a $28 and it expired, I think, this coming Friday. Well, because Neo was dropping into the teens, I sold it for 109. So I got that right away immediately. And then I bought it back for $4. So basically, I got to keep $105. And that's kind of what you want to do with covered calls. And the other one is Realty Income. It expires, I think, the 18th, and it's for $70. And I sold that one for, I think, 105. And last time I looked, it was maybe like 10 or $14. So you can buy them back and close them out early. And there's a bunch of different options that we won't get into, but it's a kind of a neat little way to generate extra income. But it's happened with my Altria shares. Sometimes price just goes somewhere you don't think it's going to, and they get called away, and that's part of the game.
Yeah, I was just looking at Altria's price as you were talking. It looks like just in the last month they're up like 7%, which
Yeah.
is pretty wild.
Um, yeah, actually, so one thing I want to talk about, let me throw this comment on here from Rick. Hey, Rick's been around for a while. Says, hey, Russ. Well, you can read. He's been trying to catch one of these. So nice to see us at the same time. Me too. This is fun. We wanted to get Darth Dividend on, but he's got his studies and he's, what is he doing? Do you remember? Nurse? I think he's a
Yeah.
registered nurse.
I think he's an RN. He's trying to become a travel nurse and just travel around the country doing that. But
That's right.
I think Darth has been going through some school, and that's just been kicking his butt. So I think he's just been focusing on that. And between
Yeah,
that and working and doing his own videos, it's tough to find the time to hop on, I think.
oh God, it is. And as I was joking with you, that I kind of I've really been liking doing these live streams, and while it can be a little bit, I don't know, nerve wracking, but I was telling my daughter, she's like, "What if you make a mistake?" I'm like, "Make a mistake, can't do
Yeah,
anything on it." So
right.
it that's it, man. It's like a concert; you just keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we get Darth on with us,
We
and
will. Sunday nights are tough for him too. I think these are his meditation nights. I remember hearing something about that. He'd been telling me like from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday nights, he just lights off, sits in the middle of his living room and just meditates on dividend stocks for a couple hours heading into the new week.
beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So what I want to show real quick is the futures. I did take a peek at futures before, so while I am politely fumbling my way through setting up this screen share here, there we go.
What's up,
This is a
Shamir?
live look at the futures, and looks like tomorrow when we wake up, market's going to be down. The Dow is already down 420 points, and the S&P is down 1.5%, 66 points. So NASDAQ down almost 2%. So tomorrow we're going to most likely open up down, and the VIX is up 7%. And kind of cool here, one thing I did look at is check this out. Look at that barrel of crude, $123. Everybody get ready to pay more for gas. Yikes.
Dang, man.
That's
I've been seeing this screenshot being passed around. I think it was from a gas station in West Hollywood, but gas is up to over $6 a gallon there.
uh,
Man.
it's going up everywhere. All right, let me get to some of these comments real quick. So
Yeah.
look at Miguel. Any thoughts on BBY? That's Best
Oh,
Buy.
yeah. Let me look that up.
Yeah, you can look it up. I could always throw something on here. And hey, I'm not frozen, am I? You're frozen to me. Oh
Oh, I
no.
am?
No, you're good. It's just on my thing here.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. Yeah, here, check this out. I got him on the phone and I see him moving, but on my screen right here, you're frozen. So, oh
Hmm.
well, that's fine. No, there you go. He's back. All right, what do we got? So Best Buy. Let's see what I'll pull up Simply Safe
Okay.
Dividends.
I'll,
And
I'll wait for you to pull it up on the screen.
I guess I got to share it. Hold on. I'm like, look, I'm looking at it. I'm moving too fast. All
I,
right, let's see. Here we go. So, Simply Safe Dividends. We'll go on their opinion real quick just to make it easy for us. 3.32% dividend yield. So they're way above their 5 year average. They give them a dividend safety score of 80. Oh, that's good. I know you and I both have talked about them on our video, I think. Videos.
yeah, Best Buy has been very swingy. I feel like it for a while it was looking really cheap, under $100 per share, but I mean, looking now, it's up over 105, 106. So I don't
And
know. It's coming
check
back
that
up.
out.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
I
look at
know.
that. 18 years uninterrupted dividends.
Yeah,
20, yeah, that's right. In March of 22. So they just did that 26% increase, and yeah,
that's
88 cents a
crazy.
share.
That's such
And
a big increase.
yeah, the dividend yield, though, is currently 34% above the 5 year average, and the PE is below the 5 year average of 13.9. It's at 11.7.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it's interesting. They have stop sharing that. I think they're didn't aren't they getting into, I saw a blurb and things I read about healthcare and outdoor furniture that are coming into the stores.
Mhm.
So, you know, I don't know. That's a very interesting company, and I don't own any outright, but it looks like it's a pretty good valuation because that dividend yield is way above their 5-year average and the PE's below. So
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
own
man,
any. I don't own any either. The valuation, to your point, looks really good. Still, it looks pretty good. The big thing with Best Buy is like, what do you think the 10 years from now, 20 years from now, retail for those type of products is going to look like? That's the
hey,
big question with that company.
man, well, put it this way, 20 years ago, I don't know, maybe even more. I remember Best Buy was, I would go there for CDs and computer games and video games, but now everything's in the cloud, right? Everything you just download. So I think they're really trying to pivot. Like I said, I noticed something with healthcare. I don't know if that's going to be in store. I didn't really dig into it. And I know they did acquire an outdoor furniture company. I remember reading that. And I guess they also have like they rent out their spaces uh, for companies like not Geek Squad, but I can't think. I know they allow like manufacturers to have space in their stores. So
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, I don't know. I'm skeptical, I guess, and I think by some of the moves they're making, it could be a little bit of a trying to throw it at the wall and see what sticks type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I would give a thumbs up for a few shares, but I don't think I would go crazy into it.
Yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to buy something like Target or something like
Yep.
Costco if I'm gonna go
Yeah.
retail. Costco,
Yep.
don't
There you
even
go.
get me started on Costco though. Like we could do a whole hour on just Costco alone, but Target's
I'm
valuation
waiting
isn't
for
too
that.
bad. Yeah, I know, I know.
I'm responding. What's up, Shamir? All right, let me see here. Do we get through? All right. What's up, Shamir? Hey, there's Kevin. All right, he's got both of us on. Should be buying
Yeah.
dividend stocks. I have a feeling Kevin's going to be buying dividend stocks. Haas, what's up, Haas? Cena, are you doing any cover calls on ticker T? We kind of talked about that. I have done it in the past, but right now, I think until after the spinoff happens, they're the premiums are not almost worth it because I was looking and I could sell a covered call for I don't know I might get like $6 or $7 for what I want and it's just really not worth it for me right now. So, and what did he say? The spinoff with Warner thinks is in April. Yeah, they just said Q2 of 22, so don't exactly know when that's going to be. You didn't hear anything, Ryan, did you?
No, I was gonna ask, so last time you and I chatted, I think you brought up they had an investor day coming up this month. Do you remember that? Or
I'm sorry.
something like that?
Say that again. I was reading the comments.
So last time we hopped on and did one of these conversations, didn't you say something about them having like an investor day or something like that in March?
Oh yeah, I think the 11th or 17th they're
Yeah,
having an investor and analyst day that is coming up.
the 11th sounds
So
right. And I'm thinking we might hear some more information about the spinoff
here,
from that.
keep talking. Cover me. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, I thought I remember you talking about that. Last time we talked, we pretty much talked about AT&T for 30 minutes and probably could have gone on for 30 more. But that's going to be such an interesting stock to see what happens these next couple of
Friday,
years.
Friday,
Okay.
March 11th is
Okay.
the investor day. So yeah, I think they'll announce it then, and probably they'll announce if the dividend is going to be cut yet or if they're going to pay it one more time.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
see. What else do we got? Got a bunch, 20 on. Aaron, would you say Mo is a good buy? Um, I honestly think Altria is a little bit overvalued right now, but given the current environment, and I think what's pushing it up is that people are, it's a flight to safety, which is why my PepsiCo keeps going up. I think just a lot of the dividend stocks, people are wanting to try to ride out some of the volatility and hide out in blue chip dividend paying companies that are just solid, you know? So I would say I think it's overvalued, but given what's going on with the world, it probably is a good idea. Wage and price controls. Let's see. Dividend freedom says some retail scares him.
What's up, JJ?
Nice. I don't see that. Where's JJ?
That's Dividend Freedom. That's him. That's his name.
Oh, see, I'm not in the loop. Nice.
Good
There
dude.
he is. And Rad Dad. What's up, Rad Dad? There
The
he is.
legend of Rad Dad.
Pop him on there. So, yeah, what I wanted to talk about. Do you guys notice I say so a lot? That's one of the ticks that I catch myself when I'm thinking that I'm working like hell on is to not say that.
We all
Are,
have those, man.
I'm excited for lower prices, aren't you? I mean, it sucks that. Oh, I do know what I wanted to say. It really sucks that it's taking a war and people losing their lives to create some of the catalyst that people are selling. And I won't say how much or where, but I did donate to some of the relief effort in Ukraine. And we're all investors. I'm thinking more of us, we spend less than we earn. So we have excess cash. And I would say that from a lot of what I've read and seen, there's people that are going to be needing help. So if you can spare a few bucks, I donate through PayPal. If you have the PayPal app, they make it super simple to donate money, and it's tax deductible. So I would strongly recommend helping out some of the people that are going through some really tough times in the Ukraine. In Ukraine, not now. I've said it and I've been corrected before. It's not the Ukraine; it's just Ukraine. So, um, yeah. So what were we? Verizon had their investor day March 3rd. All right, Shamir. How's O doing? O has been lagging because I know that's one of the ones I pay attention to, chess. And I've lost my train of thought here.
So
Oh, I
Russ,
know it. Yeah,
yeah, I
talk.
mean,
Say something.
to your point, like talking about this Russia Ukraine stuff, which
Mhm.
obviously is such a delicate situation, but it's it's absolutely brought about some volatility in the market. And with that, which stocks in your portfolio have been most affected by this, both positively and negatively? Like, have you have some that have really run up in share price? I know I have. Do you have any that have really come down in share price as a direct result of this?
So going up, Exxon Mobil and Chevron. I think everybody who has those, yeah, those have just gone up crazy. But I actually shared in a comment on your latest video. To my surprise, my so far just in the bridge portfolio, the one stock that has done the best. And now, granted, some of this is me buying it during coming, March 2020, April of 2020, is Archer Daniels Midland farmland. They are involved in all the food that we eat, and for what I've read in history, when there's hyperinflation in Weimar Germany, when there was hyperinflation going on, a lot of the farms and farm related um, things just do well because we have to eat. And I guess a lot of farmers drew the ire of everybody else because farms kept doing well when everybody else was really struggling. So that really doesn't surprise me looking at that. And we definitely have inflation going on, which I think is a bigger issue than Russia because was it 2% less than here? I have the let me get my facts straight here. So Russia and Ukraine account for less than 2% of the world's GDP. So financially, it's not really a big deal, but humanity wise, it's a huge, huge deal.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then obviously ExxonMobil, because Russia is the world's third largest producer of crude and the second largest exporter of crude. So I know they're all boycotting, everyone's boycotting Russia, which is really going to, couple that with inflation. As we just saw, I mean, a barrel of oil is almost $130, which is just, dude, that's mind boggling. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what about you? What's,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of these comments. I see Kevin brings up Chevron, and that is the one in my portfolio that has been most affected by all of this, I'd say. My position right now, probably 2 weeks ago, it was up 40%, which is pretty, a
yep.
pretty big gain, but now it's up over 70%. Like, it's jumped up that much just in the last handful of weeks. And it begs the question, and this is one of the questions that Kevin just asked in the comments. In these situations, what do you do? Do you continue holding on to these companies? Do you lock in some profits, capitalize on these profits? What do you think is the right move here? And I've got my thoughts on this, but I'd be curious to hear yours.
Well, for me with Exxon and Chevron, I'm just going to keep holding because my whole MO is I'm buying for that dividend. And it's really tempting to say they're at levels we haven't seen in quite some time. So you kind of think, well, I'll just sell and then I'll buy lower, but I don't know where to buy lower. How do you know what's an exact price? We don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't know what's going to happen. So for me, I'm just going to keep holding. Maybe if I had bought in if I bought Exxon and my average price was $80, I would be more inclined to sell now. But I think my average price on here, I'll look on Exxon. It's down there. And does that affect you, your average price? While I'm looking.
I mean, I was going to kind of say the same thing. It's very tempting. I mean, I just mentioned my Chevron's up over 70%. And it's like, that's like the best any of my positions have ever done. So it's definitely tempting to lock in some of those profits and realize those to put into some other discounted stocks, which in my position, or in my portfolio, I think I have a few like Starbucks or Intel or 3M, that
Yep.
would be
All
better
right.
value right now. But still, like going back to what you said, we're doing this for the income, and even those other more discounted options, like it's going to lower my dividend yield, and it's going to lower my annual dividend income from making those moves. And
Yep.
I plan
Yep.
to hold these companies like Chevron. I plan to hold it as long as I can across the next 20, 30 years, if it's still growing and paying the dividend. So, with that said, if it's my primary goal, I'd probably rather just stick to the plan and hold on to what I have despite the huge run up.
Right. $47.20 is my average on ExxonMobil. So,
Okay.
it's crazy. I'm like, well, I'm not doing it for the capital gain. It's nice. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
boost for the ego, but what I'm more interested in is, of course, as I'm saying, this is my dividend income as I just knocked it down $360. But I'm confident. It's a matter of time. I'll get those shares back.
Yeah.
So this is temporary.
And
But yeah, so
real quick, man, this is
yep.
also not to say that one shouldn't sell, because it depends on every individual, I think, right? But and I definitely think you could make the case for selling in these times, but for me personally, I'd rather just hold on to it and not have to worry about selling it now to try and time buying more shares when it comes back down. You just never know what's going to happen. So it's easier to not do anything, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So that kind of goes for the question. Forgot who asked that for Chevron and Exxon. I kind of looked at the same. Oh, Kevin.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I honestly wouldn't trim them. Maybe unless your average was right around where it's at now, then maybe. So yeah, Rick, nice. ExxonMobil's up 80% and still yielding over 4%. Yeah, and give
Yeah.
it up for what? Like
Yeah,
why?
true.
You know.
And then right here, Rad Dad asked about EPD, which is, another
Yep.
company in the energy sector that has had not as big of a run up, but it's gone up in share price recently. But that's another one. I have a big EPD position, and I'm like, nah, man, I'll just keep holding on to that.
Yeah,
I don't want to
they're
sell any
one
of
that
those.
I had a note on that they
Yeah.
are. Yeah, they're currently 7.31% yield.
Hmm.
They're up 5.2% in the past month. And yeah, so those of you that don't know, they service both producers and consumers of natural gas, crude oil, refined products, and petrochemicals. So they're pretty diversified. And yeah, they're an LP, and I do hold those in the Roth. So not to have to worry about that Schedule K1. What else here? Yeah,
Shamir,
read another question.
I'm buying some more 3M for sure. I don't think I didn't buy any this week, I don't think, but previous weeks I've been picking up some more shares. It's too cheap to ignore.
Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. It's it's going to be a little dicey. We're going to have to see what's what, but I know I did a video on them, and I think in the long run, it's this is a good buying opportunity for 3M, and they invest a lot of money into patents. They have I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but they have a ton
Oh,
of products
it's
that weren't even around 5 years ago because they're constantly plowing money into R&D and making new and interesting things.
dude, it's something like over a 100,000 different patents or something crazy like that. It's a
Yeah,
huge number.
right.
Huge
They're
number.
going to be okay. And I on my last video with the 3M legal loophole, I know they're trying to make an appeal and use the government contractor defense, which, in a nutshell, is that if the government hires a company and the company does what the government wants, builds what they want to their specifications, and the government approves it, and if there's any kind of defect or concern or question and they let the government know about that and then the government still accepts the product, then if something happens they basically can't be held liable because they were just doing what the government said, and you can't sue the government because they claim sovereign immunity, which that's a problem with government. That's a whole different thing with government being too many things, but because what are you going to do? Sue the government in the government courts? It's kind of unfair, you know.
So fun fact, I also have sovereign immunity. Just while we're on the subject.
That's right. There was oh, who was it? There was somebody I remember. This guy claiming sovereign immunity, right? Yeah, you can't sue me unless I give you my consent. That's what the government says. So if we could all do that, um, yeah. So I think 3M is at a decent entry price right now. Yeah, I'm not too worried about. And what I'm see, this is what I love. I was telling Ryan earlier. We were talking. I said, I kind of some things I want to talk about, but once the comments start going, I get so derailed. I lose track of time because I honestly just I love talking with you guys live time like this because usually I'm reading a comment or I'll see a comment pop up and I'm in the middle of a job somewhere and then I don't get to it for hours later. So it's really cool to just be able to just boom, ask us something and we'll respond right away.
Dude, I feel like I could stand here and do this all day.
Yeah, honestly, there you go. We'll just do next time. We won't even try to have a topic. We'll just come on and say, all right, just let's talk. Share. And it's not always, and teach me stuff because I'm
Yeah.
learning. I love you guys sharing things that I might have gotten wrong or here's an idea. Give us ideas, we love it,
Absolutely.
man.
That's been one of my favorite things about this whole YouTube thing, to be honest with you, is being able to connect with all these people in the comments. I feel like just from reading and engaging and interacting with the people in the comments, I've learned so much. It's seriously expedited my, knowledge growth as an investor tenfold, I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's the community. I mean, yeah, we're making videos and other people mostly don't, but just
Mhm.
because you guys engage, it's
It's huge.
awesome.
It's
I
huge.
love it.
Mhm.
Ah, look at this. Let's see, Rad Dad. Here we go. This is something I'm pretty shouldn't have EPD in a Roth. If you have to show your gains on partnerships, even in IRAs, right? You do have to. I believe the way that it goes, and again, I could be wrong. I think if it's under $1,000 of income, then you don't receive a Schedule K1. I think, and I don't remember receiving one last year for what I had in the Roth. So that's kind of what my thoughts on. I get sidetracked easily. Anyway, so I think that's the way it goes. Why a lot of people try to hold limited partnerships inside of tax advantaged accounts because if that income is under 1,000, but as soon as you go to $1,001, then I believe on that dollar is you get a Schedule K1 for it. Dividend Freedom loves the community. I love it. And then Chess wants to know my thoughts on how quickly respond to comments. Hey, I'm trying, man. I love it. Of course, here I'll pop up Chess's comment. Uh, for me, I think they're going to be fine. They don't really have any exposure um, to Russia or Ukraine. I know they have some European, or at least I don't believe they do. I know they have some European footprint they're trying to build. They're trying to grow out and gambling. They just got into gambling with their first property with the win in Boston. In the Boston, I don't know, I was going to say Harbor, but I don't want to. I don't want to throw that out there. I don't think it's the harbor. Um, yeah, they're just so big, so well run. They merged with Verit and they spun off ONL, Orion Office Properties, which I think was a smart move because I think offices are kind of on their way out or at least staying down. So for me, Realty Income I think is great, and yeah, they're the monthly dividend company, right? They keep raising that dividend, so I
Would you
do like
say
Realty Income.
would you say that they're probably one of the most popular dividend stocks? Like you'd be
Yeah,
hard pressed to find a dividend investor that doesn't have realty income.
yeah, and even though they had run up a bit, let me look at their dividend yield. Um, I think they're still over 4%. Let's see. We got real. They're currently at 4.43%, and you get paid that monthly. It compounds monthly. And I do try to keep my REITs also in tax advantage accounts if it's possible, just because then you're not paying the what's the word? I'm drawing a blank. The ordinary the
Yeah,
ordinary income. It's not qualified
yeah,
for
yeah.
REITs. They're pass through entities.
Phil
Let's see.
wants to know, are there any stocks that you don't own right now that is very close to your buying range? It's a good question.
I don't know. There's always stocks that I don't. Oh, I just did buy one in my Roth because of Rad Dad, and it's not a dividend stock. I bought Facebook. So I bought one share, my first share of Facebook at 199 bucks even. And I might try and swing that, maybe see if it does go back up into the 250s, 260s, something like that. So I thank you for that one, Rad Dad. Um, that was one that I don't own. Let me think for a second on dividends. What about you, Ryan?
No, honestly, I a couple things. I've been so bad about doing stock research lately, to be honest with you. I feel like I've been so busy with work and putting out
Yeah.
these videos that my dividend stock research has kind of fallen to the wayside compared to those, or has not taken as much priority over those. Um, so no, in that regard, but also I'm really trying not to add any more positions to my portfolio right now. I'd really like to focus on the ones that I have and contribute to the value that's within my portfolio. And it's so tempting to want to add more stocks because I have a watch list right now full of like, I think there's 8 to 10 different stocks in there. Then I'm like, I'd love to own all of those, but I don't know. It's just I want to work on what's in my portfolio for now, so I'm
And
holding off.
and and what you speak to, you make me think like that's the beautiful part about dividend investing is that you literally probably once you get a good company, unless something major
Yeah,
happens, you'll hear about it in the news. You don't if you especially if you drip, which I think you drip, right?
I do drip.
Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah,
do anything. You set it, forget it, check
yeah,
on it once a year. So you really don't have to keep up with it. And that's what I hated about swing trading before found dividends is that, man, every day I'm constantly looking at the prices to see if it's at my time, what it's doing. I had enough of it. I love this. It fits me hand in glove. So yeah, I don't know. As for me, there's always stuff I want to buy, which is also nice. Why I like to have um, the mutual funds. So through my work, I have Vanguard mutual funds, and those I'm exposed to everything. So it's kind of cool. I don't, I don't. I know a lot of people. It's almost like you can't have mutual funds and you can't have individual dividends or individual stocks. It has to be one or the other. No, it can be. I think it can be both. Um, yeah. So the bulk of my money is in Vanguard mutual funds. So I'm exposed to Tesla, which I don't own outright, but I own through that.
yeah,
So yeah, there's always something I could find a reason to buy. Put it that way.
absolutely.
Let's see. Dividend freedom always his. If you want to say something, I'm gonna just go through these. The
I mean, I
dividend
was just gonna
strategy.
say there's a couple stocks that I'm looking at. Like I'm really trying to find a good financial stock to add to my portfolio. Currently, I only have Main Street Capital Corporation and Owl Rock Capital Corporation, both of which are business development companies, but I'd love to add some sort of bank stock. And I think that's kind of what I'm on the hunt for right now. And if I find one that I really like, um, I would consider pulling the trigger. Or if something like Costco or Microsoft really came into buying range, which I don't see happening for me, I would jump on that opportunity. But otherwise, I feel like I gotta stick to the plan and keep rocking with what I already have.
Yeah,
Um,
Costco's a nice one. I mean, that's one I wish I had.
yeah,
Citigroup, there you go. Citigroup is down 15% in the
yeah,
month.
yeah,
Currently at 3.6%, 3.60% yield, and they're down if you don't know because they recently disclosed that they have $10 billion of exposure to Russia. So
yeah,
that's kind
dude.
of why Citigroup is down.
I was like this close to adding Citigroup to my portfolio. This close. There was a period where I was like in a lot of my videos, I was like, Citigroup is the one I'm looking at, ready to buy it, but I ended up taking it off the watch list. And in hindsight, I think I'm glad I did. I think just it was definitely at a good discount, but I think there's better options out there.
Yeah, and what I own outright is in the self-directed IRA. I have JP Morgan.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the financials. I had owned Wells Fargo, but I sold it after it ran up.
Mhm.
Hey, I want to point this out. Speaking about certain stuff that could be affected by this, Philip Morris might go down further. It's uh, I guess I want to say it's like Altria, but worldwide. So Altria is basically only in the United States or North America is their exposure. They don't really have any international exposure, but Philip Morris, which is down only 3.6% the last month, has a 5% dividend yield currently, but they generate 8% of their total sales in Russia and Ukraine, and that is the most of any S&P 500 company. So we'll see how this thing plays out, but Philip Morris could be coming down, and that is one that I had been looking at, but I went with British American Tobacco instead of them.
Nice, man.
And speaking of exposure to Russia, my PepsiCo has 3.5. Oh no, I'm sorry, 4.4% of their total revenue is from Russia and Ukraine. They're down 3.5% in the last month. Is the number I was trying to spit at you.
That's not a super crazy amount, though. Don't you
Mm-mm.
think? Like I can live with that.
I've been wishing they came down further because, as you know, I've been buying a share a week, and I just bought number 90. Funny
Dang.
story. Yeah, funny story with limit orders. On Friday morning, it was around 161 and it was dropping in the 160s. So I put my buy at 160.50. I think it got down to 160.72 maybe,
Oh,
and then it
dude.
started going up. And I ended up buying it at 165.50. I
Oh,
waited all the way until there was maybe 15 minutes left in the trading day. And I'm doing the experiment. I just want to be able to say I did it, but I was just so mad. I'm like, the damn thing just keeps. At one point, I was working with a guy. I'm like, dude, Pepsi will not stop going up. And he's like, what are you talking about? Because, yeah, I work in the trades, and none of these guys.
and you're
Like,
probably the only one who is into this stuff, I'm guessing, right?
oh, clearly. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
clearly. Let me catch up with a few of these. What about
Okay.
Russian stocks at the low and sell them in a few years? Well, Trevon, I don't know if you can buy them. I think a lot of exchanges are kind of blacklisting the stock. So
Yeah. Did you see the notice from Charles Schwab
I
recently?
did, yeah.
Yeah. So I
So
think a lot of the stocks on the Russian exchange we can't trade them right now through Charles Schwab.
no, and I think that's more, that's going to be all over the
Mhm.
world. That's why companies like Sparebank, SBERBANK, I think Russia's biggest bank, is down like 98 or 99%.
Dang.
It fell 85% in one day. And so that's the thing. If you're stuck with your Russian stocks, but I don't think you would even be able to buy them if you wanted to right now. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know how I would feel funny about that. I personally, from if everything is true, I don't know what Vlad's thinking. I mean, we won't get political here, but I don't think I would want, would you? I don't think I would want to buy any Russian companies, even though they're not, just because they're in the country, but still, it's a stigma attached to them right now for sure. Oh no, Nora. Hey, me and guest. That's Nora the Stock Explorer. She's the queen of live streams. I swear to God, every day on my phone, she has her live streams popping up. So
Oh, nice.
yeah. Let's see.
I'll have to pop in there and check it out.
Yeah. Let's see what else we
So
miss.
many people say they don't know what I'm talking about. Are you referring to when you bring up stock stuff? Because I think we both would know that feeling.
Uh huh. Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People here. Oh yeah, they don't know what I'm talking about, and they're not even interested. I've tried to explain to people. They're like, I don't care.
You know what though, man? Like, I mean, I'm a couple years younger than you are, and
Hmm.
I'm the same way. None of my friends. I'm 28 years old. None of my friends are into this stuff at all. Like, unfortunately, because it's such a cool thing. But I just feel like it's one of those things where 10, 12, 15 years from now, when I'm in my 40s, those same people who are into it today are like, yeah, I should have started sooner, or they'll just be starting to get into it, not really knowing how to get started. And I'm like, man, I'm so grateful I stop and think about it. I'm so grateful to have found this hobby and to be doing this, because
Oh,
it's such a rewarding thing. And I think about the next 20 years, and God, it's
dude, the
so
compounding.
insane. It's
That's
so
why.
crazy.
That's why Warren is the most successful investor, is just because of the time he's been in it. I mean, the guy's been investing for, I don't know, 70 years or something stupid, but he's not by percentage gains. From what I've read, I forget his name. There is another investor. Morgan Housel talks about it in his book. If anyone hasn't read The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel,
Oh,
great book. I love Morgan Housel. He
that's
can
on
join
my
us
that's
someday.
on my to buy list.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
anyone knows Morgan, let him know we're accepting him invitation out there. But yeah, he talks about it's just because of Warren's time and your money can compound. And they did a study that if you had a little patch of moss in a pond and it just doubled, how long would it take to cover the whole pond? And they said it was 30 days. But do you know when it was at 50% of the pond? The day before. Because for it to get to 100 and double, it has to be at 50. So look at how long it takes in the beginning to get to that 50%, and then it's so the longer you stay in, just the returns, the compounding is just so crazy, and that's why I'm jealous that you're 28 and doing this. I am going to be 44 next month, and I wish I would have started that. Thankfully, I was putting a few percentage of my points of my percentage paycheck in my retirement account, but nothing like I should have been. Let me get a couple of these. So hold on. Rad Dad asked something. What
Well,
did he ask?
you know what, man, on that point real
Yeah.
quick,
Yeah. Yeah.
we've talked about it before. I know you're making up for that lost time right now and you're
Oh, and
contributing
how?
so
Yeah.
hard right now. So, don't beat yourself up, man. I mean, the important thing is that you're doing it.
Yeah, you know what? And it's funny you say that because I have kind of pivoted. So I always say that I'm currently paying for the financial sins of my younger years. And this is, I guess, Ramit Sethi, and I know he's geared toward millennials, but I heard him on a podcast. I don't remember which one. And it really spoke to me about living your rich life, where he says, if you're trying to cut out the things you love, you're doing it wrong. Basically, in a nutshell, you're supposed to save and invest, but you also need to save like 10 to 20% for fun stuff now because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You could die tomorrow or you could die in 80 years. But he says to be mercilessly frugal on the things that don't fulfill you and don't bring you joy, but to spend lavishly on the things that you love with the money you prepared to do that with. So I've had a few years there where I just was frugal with everything, but so it's about investing for the future, but enjoying life now and living life now. So there's definitely a balance to find. And I went from one extreme way to the other. And yeah, anyway, let me get to great point though. I love it. Rad Dad. Over under 2% negative tomorrow. Do you think we'll have a recession with the market holding up strongish?
I mean,
Uh,
I've heard that we're
yeah.
kind of already in a recession, right? Like technically, isn't the market down enough to be considered recession territory?
Yeah. Anybody you want to throw that on there? We 10% is what, a bear market, but 20% from the high down is a recession, I believe. So I know the Nasdaq was leading that and really outpacing like the S&P or the Dow, but I don't know if we're in. If I got that wrong, somebody let me know. Let's see. I love it, guys. So many questions. I can't keep up.
Yeah, man.
Let's see.
Like I
Let's
said,
see.
we could seriously stand
Yeah.
here and do this all night. It's just
Crypto dividends thinks says we've been in a depression. Yeah.
so much ground to cover.
Let's see. Let's see. Futures are red. Yeah. I'll show it again. Let's take a live look at the futures for Nora as I again get this up here. Let's see if we've gotten any better. Crude's at 123. Let me swing this over. Oof. Yeah, so the Dow's down 445 points. Nasdaq is down 2%, so it's gotten worse. And the S&P is down 1.6. And then the VIX, if you don't know, that's kind of the fear gauge. That's the volatility index. So when that is going up, then that means that investors are nervous about the market. It's fearful, and when that's low, there's not a lot of fear. So yeah, everywhere, even in Europe, the FTSE 100 in England down 3%. Yeah, I would say when we wake up tomorrow, if you got any dry powder, looks like we're going to have more, I don't know, not blood in the streets, but opportunities, right? That's what I'm looking for. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Phil B. Let's see. Phil B says, "What do you guys expect the market will do this week?" I think it's, well, obviously, right. So we're starting down, and I don't know. I could see, it's weird. Have you noticed that, Ryan? That we're having like big swings, like just on the Dow. One day we're down 600 points, then we're up 600 points, and then we're down. So
Yeah.
it's
It's so tough to make predictions,
yeah, and
it's kind of pointless. It's fun, it's fun to think about, whoa, what's going to happen, but dude, who knows?
we don't have to make. We're dividend investors. We just keep buying.
Some stocks are going to go up, some stocks are going to go down.
And so, actually, in the latest Warren Buffett, the Warren Buffett letter I read, he made a prediction, and he said some years there's going to be, like, I don't remember, you like 5 to 7% gain, and then some
Yep.
years I see there will be a 5 to 7% loss, but then some years it's going to be somewhere in between those. So it's basically his joke. I think it's going to go up, down, or stay the same, says Warren.
Yeah. By the way,
Nostradamus column.
man, I really have been enjoying those videos you've been putting out, talking about or going over those shareholder letters. Those have been awesome.
Oh, yeah. I know they're not going to, I don't know, do well, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying reading them. I think I absorb it more when I read it out loud.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it anyway. So this is kind of my way of sticking to it, because I probably would have done a few and then
Yeah.
slacked off for a few weeks. So
So
at least this way,
you're basically putting out your own audiobook. That's what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. And then, hey, for anyone else out there. So do you know why I started doing this? Like, did
N-
you hear the story of what got me to do
Um,
it?
I don't believe so.
Oh my God! So if you if you could probably find him, if you search Warren Buffett letters, there was somebody that read them all, but it was really bad audio. He had I don't know. I want to be nice. Maybe a little bit of maybe he might have been foreign. I definitely had an accent, but when he was reading it, he was racing through it. I mean, he was just what do you guys expect the market will do this week? Another repetition of last week's stock performance. It was like he was trying to speed read, and it was unlistenable. I couldn't listen to it. So I was like, and I looked, I really didn't see anything else that just had them all. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm getting caught. I'm way behind my messages. By the way, I think we'll do this for an hour. Give it another 15 minutes or so. You good with
Yeah.
that?
That's cool with me.
I mean, I could, it's so easy for me. Like, this is just pop on and let's see. Shamir says, "Oh, is another. He will probably pull the trigger on
Yeah.
soon." So is that Southern Company? I think.
Hmm.
Let's see. Trevon, what do you guys think about Viatris stock down a lot? Is it yeah? So it is a Pfizer spinoff, right? Did you do anything on Viatris?
I did not. I actually don't have Pfizer either.
Yeah, I don't have either, and I did see something on Simply Safe Dividends that they think that the dividend is going to. Here, I'll pull it up. Yeah, you can read a few of those or talk to the very nice people while I.
Well, I want to. I'm kind of curious. It's not trying to dwell on this Russia stuff, but it really is affecting the markets right now. And with that, I'd be very curious to know what you guys watching right now. What are you looking to pick up? What discounts are you seeing come from all of this, or what are looking like some good stocks to buy at the moment, in your guys' opinions?
All right, here we go. So, Simply Safe Dividends. I'll blow it up a little bit. They did a outlook. They reaffirmed their dividend at borderline safe at 50. So they said Viatris's strategic update adds uncertainty to the outlook. The dividend remains well covered. So there you go. Just by that headline, I think they seem to think it's a borderline safe dividend, and it should be okay.
Russ, how big is your healthcare allocation in your portfolio? Is it big?
I don't have an exact number, but I do have Johnson and Johnson. I'm going off the top of my head here. Johnson and Johnson. I have Merck, which I really like, and Gilead. Those
Okay.
are the big three. I may have one more in there. See this? We can't remember them all.
Yeah.
Gilead, I really like. The only problem with Gilead is they make products that cure people, so it's kind of it's a good thing, but not financially, but it's good for humanity. Let's
Sounds
see.
like a win to me.
Yeah, our first green month of 2022. No idea, and I don't really care. I'm not trying to predict it. I'm being honest. It may sound a little like I don't know, but I really don't care because I'm buying stocks that I intend to hold for decades and never sell them
Yeah.
unless they get called away because I'm trying to get cute and make a few extra bucks, which,
And I think that's really the underlying message to a lot of this stuff. And we've kind of talked about it throughout this video, just in terms of, or as it relates to selling stocks when they've run up so much. It's like you could, but remember your main objective is to buy these stocks for the long term. And you got to imagine in that time period from when you start buying them to when you're ready to live off those dividends, there's going to be those ups and downs, and it's going to be, you might freak out when they're down and you might want to sell when they're up, but you got to remember the main objective. You got to remember what the mission is. And you always got to go back to that.
okay, there you go. Raheem told me markets are in bear territory when stocks on average fall at least 20% off their high.
Okay.
So yeah, what did I say? I think I said a recession, but I guess bear market.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a correction I believe is 10% off their high. So thank you for that, Raheem.
Okay.
10 per here, and then he said 10% decline is an arbitrary benchmark for a correction. So yeah,
So as far as what other people are buying, just from asking a couple minutes ago, it looks like people are picking up some JP Morgan, some Cummins, ticker
there you
symbol
go.
CMI, which is a
Oh,
great company. Store Capital,
yep,
looks like some Google and 3M, Altria Group, another Store Capital, another JP Morgan, some more
yep.
Store and Intel. So Altria Group,
Mo.
Store, JP Morgan, those seem to be three popular ones right now. Kevin said Cummins. Yeah,
Yep.
there's still some discounts to be found out there, which is it's good to see some popping up.
Cummins is one that I'd like to get into. There you go. There's one
Yeah.
that's been on my watch list that I have not yet.
Yeah, great company to hold for the long term. Russ, do you have Snap-on? I feel like you had don't you have
No,
I thought you had Snap-on. What am I
no,
what am
I
I
took a
thinking?
picture with a snap. I was in a ComEd bathroom and they had Snap on cherry. I put it.
Yeah,
I think that
okay.
might have been the last thing I put on my Instagram. All right.
Yeah,
Oh no,
yeah, I
I know what
remember
I did.
seeing that.
I made a TikTok video with it, which that's gone to. It's too much. I bit off too much, so I had fun for a few videos.
Yeah.
But that was because I think I tagged you in it because you had just did a video about Snap
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I remember
And
that.
I didn't even realize that they were a publicly traded company, let alone a solid dividend company.
Yeah, man. They and they're coming down in share price too, which is great to see. I'm hoping they keep coming down because I'm trying to load up on that. That company, I could see being one of the core positions in my portfolio
Yeah, they
someday.
are in the last. No, oh wow, they're down 12% in the last month, and they're down 56% in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Wow,
Wild.
that actually is. Huh. That might be a good. There you go. I'm gonna put that one on the watch list.
Yeah, and
Let's see.
to
Let's see.
going back to the comments, I mean, I see a lot of JP Morgan going on in the comments right now, and that one seems like it's coming into buying territory too. I don't know exactly what a fair value for that company might be, but obviously a beast of a company and it's coming down in share price, so it could be a good buying opportunity for that one as well.
Here, I'll pull up Yahoo. If you cover me for a second, I'll see what the analysts say real
I got
quick.
I got your 6. Yeah.
Let's see.
No, JP Morgan's one that going back to talking about financials companies or bank stocks, that's definitely one that's been on the radar, but I'd still like to see it come down a little bit more. Fun fact, I actually used to have JP Morgan when I first started dividend investing. I had JP Morgan and I had Bank of America, and I'm such an idiot, guys. I sold out of both of those to buy the two that I have now, Main Street and Owl Rock, and it's just like, in hindsight, it's such a stupid move.
Here, let me share it. So I got it right here. I'll just share the screen. So currently, analysts, 26 of them have an average of 173.65 and it's 134.40. So if you want to listen to analysts, right now would be a plenty good time to buy that. And its low is 125 bucks, so it's pretty close to its 52-week low.
Hmm.
And it's analysts, though. I take analysts what they say with a grain of salt.
Yeah, absolutely.
We won't get into that. Don't ever make a final decision because of what analysts say.
Hey, Russ, so
Yeah, yeah.
what are you looking at buying this upcoming week?
Well, obviously Pepsi. I'm
Yeah.
buying that share of Pepsi, and uh, I guess we'll have to see. Hopefully, I'm going to be selling a cash secured put for Altria. That's right at the top of my list, trying to get back in. I'm going to see where Altria opens up. Hopefully, it'd be nice if it opened up low. There was a lot of resistance right around $52, so I was kind of surprised, but I'm not surprised because of a lot of the safe blue chip companies. There's a lot of investors just trying to hide out in them. So that's going to create buying pressure. I mean, everybody's buying them. So
Mhm.
that's, yeah. So those are the two things. And I don't know. I don't really have a lot of dry powder left. So I'm
Do
going to
you
get that
invest
share of
a
Pepsi. And
yeah. Do you invest a consistent amount every single week or does it vary week to week?
so it varies. Right now, I 25%, yeah, I had it at 30 for a while, but 25% of my pre-tax income goes to my 401k.
Mhm.
And then out of the money that's left over, I have money that goes to an emergency fund and I guess a fun fund. And then I put some of it into Schwab.
Okay.
I don't really ever have a set amount. I always do the share of Pepsi. And if I get a bunch of dividends, which I think I'm going to be receiving some dividends here, let me see if I can pull that up. I'm going to, yeah, I'll just, I don't know. There's really no set amount. Do you have a set amount?
Yeah, I pretty much invest $200 across the board every single week. So 150 of that goes into the Charles Schwab portfolio, the main taxable brokerage account.
Mm-hmm.
And then 50 of that goes into the Roth IRA that I made a couple months ago now. I would really like to, one of my goals as time goes on is going to be to increase that Roth contribution to max it out, eventually max it out. And that's something I'm working on now, but gotta make some more income, increase my income
So
before I can do that.
So here's a fun one on Simply Safe dividends, which I really am digging them. I have three dividend payments this week. I'll be getting 26.50 from Johnson and Johnson, 25.52 from ExxonMobil, and 25.20 from Prudential. So yeah, right there. I mean, that's enough to buy something. So I always joke that I like to. I'm sorry, we can. I haven't looked at this, so check that out. Look at on the 31st because of Pepsi, $121.35. Like that's a
That's a
share
lot.
of, yeah, of a lot of just from that. But it's Eaton, Pepsi, and Simon Property Group, which is my only REIT that I have left in the taxable account. So yeah, what I do, I cut the dividends with new cash, and then I target deploy them. I don't drip. I just let the dividends pile up, and then I mix it. I joke around. I cut it with new cash, and yeah,
Yeah.
I target. I just look for what's down.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, I've been missing a ton of comments here, so we'll just spin through a few of these real quick. And let's see, Trivia or Trivon, sorry, said
A little
ADP and
AD.
AP.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, good companies to buy right now, it looks like.
Yeah, Air Products. I see them all the time. I'm a welder, so I'm using a lot of the gases, not necessarily their gases, but I see them all over the jobs I'm on.
Yeah.
There we go, Haas. How long have we been in dividend investing for? I have been strictly dividend investing since the fall of 2018. I did a video on this when I used to swing trade, and then I was buying penny stocks. And Helios and Matheson was the straw that broke the camel's back. Long story. It was because of that I ended up finding dividends. So um, for me, strictly dividends has been since about fall of 2018. About you, Ryan?
I think I really got started with it consistently back in maybe the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. I think it was more towards the end of 2019. And I'd been investing prior to that, but very sporadically and had zero clue what I was doing. But something about dividends, I don't even remember what it was that made it click for me or turn that light bulb on. But around that time, like end of 2019, I just caught the bug and it just been going hard ever since. I'm so glad that I did.
I'm a full addict. I'll admit it. I'm
Yeah.
addicted, and I, yeah, I was like, you know what? And if it was when I saw Ian Lopic. I remember I was watching him thinking like, wait a minute, so he loves dividends too, and he's talking about dividends, and he's like making a few bucks talking
Yeah.
about dividends. It's like I'm going to do that too,
Yeah.
and this has been a process for me doing so much wrong, and just I look at some of my earlier videos, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking that I even put this on YouTube? So
Dude,
you can have fun and check it out.
that's all part of the journey though.
Yeah.
I'm still going through that, It's all part of the journey.
What did I put up here? From Skills Who Kills. Nice. Thoughts on foreign country ETFs. Yeah, I think they're great. I think we should. I think we should expand our investing outside of our home country bias. But if you don't know enough about individual companies, then this is where ETFs are just awesome because you just. I'll mention an ETF I was looking at was URNM. It's the North Shore Global Uranium Mining ETF. It has a 6.69% yield. There is a 0.85% expense ratio. So when you subtract that, you're still looking at a 5.84% yield. It's newer. It's been up 179% since it uh, debuted since its inception in 2019. And this is the thing. I think that uranium is the green energy of the future, which is nuclear. I think it is the clean energy that can power the modern economy that we need. So I'll just read this little spiel here and I want to hear your thought, or you can give yours. So this uranium ETF, because I don't know about enough of them, and there's a lot of foreign companies that are in the uranium space. It tracks the performance of 35 companies involved in mining, exploration, development, and production of uranium, as well as companies that hold physical uranium. So for me, that's instant exposure to an entire space. What do you think about ETFs?
I think ETFs are great. I don't know a lot about foreign ones, but I think ETFs are good for pretty much any investor to have in the portfolio. My entire Roth is made up of ETFs. Taxable, not so much. But if I could go back, I probably would start just holding ETFs and expand from there.
Yeah, and that's what we're paying the expense ratio for people that are in the know or hopefully in the know to manage those companies.
Yeah. It's
And
such a great way to get started with investing. And I don't know about you, Russ, but like one of the most common questions that I get is like, oh, what should I buy? I've got $100 and I want to start investing. What should I put it into? What stock should I buy? And it's always my answer to that. Something like that is always going to be, well, if you don't know, just put it in some ETFs like a VTI or a VU and,
yep. Oh,
and learn
easy.
from there. Yeah.
Easy. We'll go through some of these really quick. Raheem, thank you. That income chart is goals. Yeah, that's Simply Safe Dividends, man. I love it. You can that's kind of nice to visualize and see what's coming in. Oh, Rad Dad, looking at Nvidia, Target, Home Depot, and Waste Management.
Yeah.
And David, he started in the fall of 2018. Christmas was amazing. A bit scary. He learned a lot. Phil B. Phil B.
Yeah.
Great waking up in the morning and getting an email that I got dividends. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all love that. We all
Phil,
love that.
Phil said it best, man.
Nice guys. Thanks for the stream. I love it. Well, I don't know, man. I could do this all night. But I mean,
I thought you were going to grab a beer when we were going to do this.
I debated. I talked to my wife about it and I said, I don't know if I want to be like drinking beer and doing this. It's probably okay, right? I mean,
it's okay, dude. I had a little margarita going here.
dang it. Okay. Well, next time then. Now I know
All right.
for next time. But yeah, I fill up. I don't know. What are those drops called? My
Like
kids like them, and I
like
steal
Neo
them.
or something.
Yeah, that's what this is. Just water with Mio. I don't.
Yeah.
Who makes it? I think Kraft Heinz makes it. Do you do this? I have this weird thing that I look at the back of products that are in our house to see who makes it. I am pretty sure. Here, you can talk.
I've been
Let me see.
doing that since I got more into dividend investing. It's something that you pick up. Absolutely.
Yeah, let
Like
me see who makes
I'm looking over here at just my sink or whatever. I've got the Dawn dish soap right there. I see the Starbucks beans, so there's dividend investing everywhere. That's why it's something that everyone should do because it's everywhere.
Yep, there you go. Mio is a liquid beverage mix owned by Kraft Heinz. So,
Okay.
that's Peter Lynch. Just look at what's around you. What are you using? I mean, here you
Yeah.
go. This water bottle, great value. So this is Walmart brand water. It's crazy. I love it. My phone, Apple. I mean, for Christ, look at this. I got this probably won't show up, but I got chapstick here. Burt's Beeswax. Do you know
Clorox.
who?
Clorox, right?
You got it, man. I love it.
Yeah. And you know what though? It's so crazy. Like the average individual would never think about stuff like this.
No.
Never think about it. But like if it makes sense when you point out your dish soap or your chapstick and tie it back to the dividend stocks or the companies that own them, it's like, yeah, that's why we invest in these companies because they're everywhere. They're so many products are owned by some of these dividend paying companies, and that's also one of the things that I think makes it such an easy thing for people to get into because you can wrap your head around the idea that like, oh, okay, Burt's Beeswax. A lot of people use that and are going to continue using that. Or Dawn dish soap. Okay,
Yeah.
everyone uses dish soap, and that's like the most popular brand. Everyone uses Gillette deodorant. A lot of guys do, or shaving cream, whatever. So it's like it's those kind of things that make me think, man, I don't know why more people aren't doing this.
I have one last thing to wrap up here with this comment and I'm thinking he means this. So, David, if you said drinks are fine, go Diego. I believe it's spelled Diageo, maybe. So they are they're from, I don't know if I say England, they're European. I know Guinness, I think, is Diego, which,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
I got Guinness. We just bought some Guinness. So here's the thing with all the banning going on, don't if you hear anybody talking about not drinking either Stoli or Smirnoff, you got to correct them because those are not manufactured in Russia. They are Russian themed vodkas. Stoli is made in Riga, Latvia, so it's not made in Russia. And Smirnoff is owned by Diego. And out here, about maybe 30 minutes from me, is Plainfield, Illinois, where there is a Diego, I guess, factory, but they bottle Smirnoff there. So don't don't let people ban, or if you hear anybody, those are especially with Smirnoff, that's an American made, or at least the ones that are by me are American made. I don't know if they distribute all over the world, but those are English and American made and European made products. So that's yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll probably wrap it up there, right? I mean, we got to end this sometime. I'm jealous because for me it is it's 8:38. So what are you at,
Dang.
6:30?
6:30, man. Yeah.
He's in California. I'm in Chicago. If you couldn't guess by my accent.
It's almost
And
it's almost bedtime for me over here though.
oh, really? Oh, you get up early, don't you?
I'm a very early riser, and I go to bed very early too. Yeah, so
No kidding.
honestly, I'll probably hop off here, pack up all my stuff, kind of start winding down, and hop in bed and read Value Investing by what is that, David Greenwald? Is that who that is?
Oh, nice, nice. That yeah, there's a ton. I think I mentioned Hoopla for anybody watching. If you have a library card here in the United States, check out the Hoopla app, Hoopla. Ton of books. I found out you get 5 books a month. I was reading so many, and they limited my books. Um, Definitely check that out. Yeah, for me, so I'm gonna hop off here, and then my wife comes downstairs. We watch maybe about 40. We watch a Netflix show. I have a couple beers, and that's the end of my night. That's how I wind down, and that's yeah. So, do you have this problem? I gotta know. Do you get up early no matter what? If you stay up late, do you still get up early?
I do. Yeah, yeah. I love it though, man. It's just it's kind of tough getting up. Like for example, I got up at 3:30 this morning. And it's
Oh my
tough. It
god.
is so hard getting out of bed at that hour, but I'll tell you what, once you're up, once you've got a couple sips of coffee under your belt, it is the best time to be awake. Everyone else is sleeping. It's total solitude. It's so nice. So
Wow.
nice.
Yeah, I usually get up about 5:30, and My wife and I sometimes will stay up late. Actually, we're probably going to do this next Saturday. We are going to, if anyone's over in the area, check it out. In Lombard, Illinois, we're going to Brower House to see Doyle. And Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein. He was the guitar player for the Misfits, and he has his own band now.
Oh,
Yeah, dude he's in his late 50s. He's always worked out. He's jacked. He dresses kind of like a Frankenstein. Got super nice. But anyway, we're going to see him at a little club out here. And if I stay up till 1 in the morning, my body's still 5:30. Bing,
mhm.
my eyes wake up, and it's a rough day. But hey,
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna end the stream now. This was a lot of fun. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
man. Well,
do it
before we
again.
before we sign off, thank you so much for
Yeah.
having me on again. It was it's always a blast doing this, and it's fun to chop it up with you.
Well, we're gonna do it on your channel eventually. When
Yeah, man. I need to get this live stream stuff figured out, and honestly, restream this platform that we're using here seems to be a good way to go. So, yeah,
I didn't
it's
even
just very cool.
put any music. Did you know that I could put music on? There's all kinds of stuff. Here, let me do that before we go. I want to
I
play around here.
I figured
Um,
you just bust out in song
here.
over on your end there.
Here.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if it's too loud, but it's crazy. Like, this is a really cool platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's distracting. No, turn it off. Okay, so I can play around. I'm easily distracted. You're welcome, Jacob. Everybody, we thank you.
Thank you
Check
guys all
out
so much for
the.
tuning in and hanging out with us for this last hour. This was so much fun,
If you
and
haven't, definitely check out Ryan's channel. I'll have a link in the description below.
thank you,
And
man.
hey, we will see you guys next time.
See
Take
you.
care.